yo. Welcome along to the Shirtless Plantain Show. This is the Manchester United edition. Yes, you are not hearing ghosts. We've not done this in a while, but it's Tomi and I. We decided, you know what? We're going to give you guys a break. We gave United a break, and we just don't feel it's right to constantly talk about our team. We're not Arsenal fans. We only do updates every day. You already know what's going on. But nah, all jokes aside, we're glad to be back. Tell me how you feeling today, man.
I'm good, I'm good. Had a nice day, enjoying the weather. Can't complain.
We love to hear it. We absolutely love to hear it. Fantastic stuff. The vibes are high. Manchester United just finished their third preseason game, and we're going to talk about preseason, talk about some transfers in and out. We're going to talk about our feelings of the team and take it from there. So overall, what would you describe the preseason as? Like, what do you think that you saw? Like, how do you feel about preseason, all of that?
Just in general, it's definitely been growth. I have definitely seen more of what Ruben's trying to get down. I will definitely say I've seen growth in that. I've seen some players too step up, like Rasmus. I know the rumor about him, but in the games he has played, he has shown like signs of improvement and being part of the game. So there's that. And Ugarte, even though he had a terrible game today, I guess it's the highs are getting more consistent, I would say. But even still, yeah. But yeah, besides that, I would just say you can just see the structure as a whole is forming for what Ruben wants at least. The question is it forming fast enough or these the players for it? Time will tell.
I mean, I feel the same way. I mean, obviously, I was very privileged and lucky to go see the first game you know, on my birthday in MetLife,
Uh-huh.
and it was beautiful to see my team play. The white kids look really nice. But I think that what you're seeing is that there's a lack of quality. And I said it last year that it doesn't matter what formation you want to play with these boys. You can play a 4-2-3-1, you can play a 4-4-2, you can play a 4-3-3. It doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it's all about out of possession. Like, how do you look up
Yep.
in possession, right? I know the fans get mad. We play a 4-4-2, okay? If you actually watch United play, our shape is literally a 4-4-2. The left wing back, Dorgu, is effectively your left winger. So Luke Shaw's a left back, basically, and then your two center backs, and then you have the right side, whatever. I'm not gonna get nerdy here. I don't care. But the point I'm trying to say is that like it doesn't matter what formation we're playing. There's a lack of quality in this team, and you start to see the bits of quality and how good it looks with it in a limited time. Like for example, we saw the first goal when Ahmad got the penalty. You saw Mbuemo, Cunha, and Bruno and Amado all
All link
together.
up, yeah.
You see really good talent, but then there's a net negatives in that team. Like I don't want to keep like harping on him over and over again, but Ugarte is not it. And I'm coming from a place of being spoiled, right? Like I got to see Roy Keane growing up. I got to see Michael Carey. Got to see Paul Scholes. Got to see Bex. Got to see all these technically gifted players in the middle. Nasty Man with the hairy chest, Ryan Giggs, even Darren Fletcher, Nicky Butt. You know, I would kill for Nicky Butt right now in this team. I would kill for Dan Fletcher right now. That's the bare minimum that we need, right? Even apart Ji Sung. But you're watching Ugarte and like today, obviously he's done pretty well in the preseason games, but the game against Everton, the lows were too low. And it makes sense why Luis Enrique was so happy, like praising him in the press conference that he's not playing, because
Yeah.
no offense to him, that's not a football player you need if you're trying to get to that next level, he's doing something that we're not. He's getting paid to play football, and I can't even hate on it. So you know what God say? As much as frustrating as you are, guess what you do that we don't do? You get paid to play football for Manchester United Football Club. You get to go home in a nice car and a nice house, and fair enough, you win. You won.
No, I can still hate. I can still very much hate.
Yeah.
'Cause like you said, it's just like I guess this is gonna like leak a bit into the transfers, but we need a midfielder. Like you can clearly see, even when Casemiro came on for Ugarte, there was still just so much to be left appalled. Like it's just not there. So I get it. If we the opportunity to get a top striker it's exhilarating because you see goals. That's all football fans know. But please, we need a midfielder. I feel like that's what you like. Garte is not a starter if you want to go to the next level. He's someone who comes in off the bench, cleans up, or if you want to play a more defensive formation, you can put him along two other technicians in the midfield, however you want to do it. He's not a starter. So having him get too many minutes, having him and Casemiro, because that's going to be one of them's going to feature heavy in the midfield, and it doesn't fill me with any type of just happiness, confidence, hope, nothing.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
know we need midfielders.
How do you feel so far about the two new signings in Bueno and Cunha?
Five.
Hmm.
I mean, I knew he was good and Bum was good. Like, to me, I've always been more skeptical. I don't use the word skeptical, but I think Cunha has the more bust ability. He has the lower floor, but in Buemo today, more the same, good link up play, able to hold up the ball, a technician, so that's fine. But Cunha, he's aggressive up from the front. He himself, he's pretty technical also, and he's excellent at driving with the ball. And I think Mbeumo's a better hold-up player. Cunha is better at like driving with the ball. So all those, again, that's exhilarating. That's what you want to see. Can he keep it consistent? That's my thing with him.
Yeah,
Because I feel like he was at Wolves for a reason. I've seen Wolves, I've seen enough of Wolves. I know Cunha. He was at Wolves for a reason. He would be good for like 5, 6 games and then disappear for 15 at United, especially if you want to get to where United wants to be, I need the consistency. So he's just the one that like again, not like wary of, but the one who I'm like, you're gonna have to impress me.
for sure. Overall, I think it's been a good preseason. It sucks we didn't get to see Sekou Kone, but it is what it is. We have a big squad. I'm not a big fan of Toby Collier. I think he should definitely go on loan, but I don't want to start nitpicking on the team, man, because one thing I will say for sure is it's hard to play anything professionally. It's hard to do
Yeah.
anything to a high level. So I'm trying to be very, very gracious in the things that I say about these players. I'm not going to sit here and be an ethical hater, right? Like I understand how it is to get up in the morning and go play ball. I understand like you're doing this against grown men. You're playing against other people. But I will say that today against Everton highlighted my issues with Man United as a club. James Garner is better than Ugarte. That's somebody we should
Oh,
have kept.
James
James Garner,
Garner he ran this game.
yes.
His
Yeah.
set pieces even.
A midfield of James Garner and Kobe Mainoo with Max Oyedele coming off the bench is exactly what United should be doing. But instead, there's powers and forces that's way bigger than us, way above our pay grade. So that's whatever. We did talk about new signings. How do you feel about Rasmus Højlund potentially leaving?
If it was up to me, he'd be on the first team out of Manchester. Like he's not. I don't care. Cut the losses. Oh, he's only 22. I've seen enough. I'm so sorry. I've seen enough. It's best for his career and it's best for my sanity. I've seen enough. He has to go. I think we even saw enough bad in the first season combined with the second season where you can be like, the lows have vastly outweighed the highs. Like we said about Ugarte. Like when the lows are this bad, I don't think there's any path to redemption. Or it's a long, long path and I don't have time for that. We have to get back in Europe. We have to start building up the squad. So I don't have time for you.
Any players that you specifically want to see out before the transfer window closes?
Realistically, or just anyone I need gone.
Let's be realistic first. Actually, let's be
Okay.
unrealistic first. Give me an unrealistic players for you to leave Manchester United. I don't need no explanation. Just give me the names of the unrealistic players, and then right as soon as you're done, give me the realistic players you want to see leave Man United.
Shaw, Mount, Anthony, Sancho, Erasmus, and honestly, I can't be Casemiro. But the realistic Casemiro, I feel like it's if because I've seen reports that Collier going on loan gives us the ability to sign another midfielder. If we can bring in that other midfielder, I think Casemiro has to go on loan. I say on loan. Casemiro just has to go because Casemiro should have left last season, but we weren't able to get people in or the signings didn't sign properly, whatever. So Casemiro has overstayed his welcome by 2.5 years in my eyes. So I think it's time for us to start to move it on. Also, his wages, he's just taking up space. He has to go. Another one, Rasmus, because I want to say I don't think it's enough time left in the transfer window for us to get Sesko or any other striking option available that's realistic for Manchester United. So I'm not too hopeful, but I think Rasmus, if someone in Serie A puts in a bid, Rasmus has to go.
Okay, I respect it. I mean, for me, I think Cecil is gonna happen. I think there's too much smoke without any fire. Whenever there's smoke, when there's
Yeah.
smoke, there has to be a fire. So I think Cesco does happen. I also think
Hmm.
United are gonna get a midfielder. I think that Ruben Amorim is not a dumb person. I think that he knows that midfield is very, very weak, and you can't roll with that midfield going in. I'm very privileged, like I said, to have seen some of the very best midfielders Manchester United have seen, and what United have put in midfield over the last decade, 12 years, what 2025 or
Atrocious.
2013. We've seen Morgan Schneiderlin. We've seen Ander Herrera. We've seen a washed up Matic. We've had Paul Pogba trying to do his thing by himself. We've
Schweinsteiger.
we've seen Schweinsteiger at his worst. We've seen Sofyan Amrabat. I mean, we've seen some really, really just terrible decisions in signing in midfield. So Gate's up there as well. So I just hope United can start to figure out like the midfield is literally the key to your team being successful. PSG won a treble because they have the three best midfield combination in the world. Arsenal are consistent because they have a good midfield. They just upgraded their midfield in the summertime. Liverpool's midfield last year was really good. City's midfield, when they were clicking, when Rodri was there, they were good. You know, so when you're good in your midfield, I mean, look at Barcelona. They got is Pedri and Frankie
Yeah,
De Jong in their
Pedri.
midfield, right?
Yeah.
So again, you need your midfielders. Without your midfield, you're not going to do nothing. And Manchester United really need to go to the drawing board. Like I want Benjamin Sesko just because whatever. I've lied to myself enough to think that he's coming here, but United need to fix that midfield. That's
Who's
the most
the
important thing.
midfield option you would go for?
I mean,
Give me three realistic ones.
That's the thing is like I think about it all the time. Angelo Stiller. Like I know he's not the
Uh-huh.
most attractive person in the world, but I'm gonna give you my three. For Man United's midfield, Angelo Stiller, Lucien from Sevilla, the French kid, and Hayden
Uh-huh.
Hackney. I think that United don't really need to go out and splash money on midfield. Just get good, decent options. Kes Smith is another one, possibly, but I don't know, man. Like you just there's so many good midfielders. I mean, I could even be crazy and say Rafael Dinka. I think Rafael Dinka is very good. You know, so there's players, players there, but it's just are you going to go get the players? You don't have to spend that much money like on players. One player I do want to praise, and I want to go back to, thinking about it. Lenny Euro.
Yeah, oh,
I don't really like to compare and contrast players from past generations to previous generations. I've seen Rio Ferdinand at West Ham. I've seen Rio Ferdinand at Leeds United. I've seen him before Vidic, seen him after Vidic. And Euro to me is the closest player we've seen to Rio Ferdinand in a very, very long time. They both won number 15 at their clubs. Rio wore 15 at West Ham. And Lenny Euro is lanky, very skillful in the ball like Rio. And they're just talented on the ball, off the ball. They're just incredibly talented players. And I know people saying he's baby Varane. He's not Varane. That's not Varane at all. That is baby Rio Ferdinand right there in the flesh. I don't like to really compare too many young players to other players of past generations, but that right there, they're doppelgangers. They're absolute doppelgangers. They're literally the same for me. What I've seen of Rio's career, because again, like people forget how good Rio Ferdinand was. He made the World Cup squad as a teenager in 1998. Okay, let's not get it twisted. That's a special talented player right there. Okay, Rio is one of them ones. Rio's one was up there with top 10 center backs ever. I don't care if you want to say I'm wrong or right. I'll fight you because he is. Okay, so all praise to Lenny Euro. That's all I can say is
nah.
all praise to Lenny Euro.
He's since I've never been more sure of a defender is going to make it in this game. Like watching him composure on the ball and the tackle. Like nowadays, like people often sacrifice defensive ability if the defender can at least be composed with the ball and keep the ball. He's able to match both levels at an acceptable level. Like he'll still grow, he'll still make mistakes, of course, but it's at like for like a 20-year-old now. Is he 20 even?
Who Lenny? Lenny is
Yeah,
19 years old right
he's
now,
still
actually.
19.
Yeah.
So for a 19-year-old defender, like most defenders don't mature till like they're 27, 26.
hmm
So for him to be like that now, oh, I'm so confident in his ability. And you just know wherever he is in that back line, he's gonna either do the right thing or be in the right place. It's a
Um,
secure watch.
there's one player I want to talk about that Man United fans love and I love, but there's times where he just does things that just frustrates you, and I think you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
You gonna talk about him first? Now I'll chime in, or do you want me to talk first?
you can go. Yeah,
I love Bruno Fernandes. I think Bruno
yeah.
Fernandes is one of those players. And again, last week when I watched United play at MetLife, Bruno frustrated me. But then Bruno scores an amazing goal with no backlift, just doesn't even look up. He just smacks it top corner. And that's the sort of magic Bruno Fernandes does. But in the same breath, Bruno Fernandes will piss you off. Like the second goal today that happened against the Everton squad was all Bruno. He
He
tried to
lost the
nutmeg
ball.
Iliman Di in the midfield. And for what reason? Now United on the back foot countering. And like that's when they scored their own goals. So it's like, Bruno gives, Bruno takes away. as Bruno is frustratingly good. That's the one thing I can say about Bruno Fernandes. He's a frustratingly great player. And I understand as fans say, oh, why would you want to get rid of Bruno? I love him. I think that United should keep him for at least one more year, but I think next year United have to upgrade their midfield. And I truly, truly believe that if you can cash in on next year, cash in on next year. But he is the leader of the club. He is the one that gets everybody going. He's the elder statesman in the team. He's the one that everyone looks towards too, as far as like, leadership and things like that. But Bruno Fernandes can frustrate the living daylights out of you, man. He can absolutely just frustrate the piss out of you. So I'm gonna let you have the floor.
He's one of those players that like you will have to live with some of the grenades he's gonna throw because he will throw a couple grenades. But like you said, he's just such a great player. I don't think you can truly overstate just how good and impactful he is to the attack.
Hmm.
Also, and I'm glad you brought it up because I don't like him as a center mid. He was in center mid because he had dropped because Kobe was off, so he dropped to center mid. That's where he tried to nutmeg. He lost the ball. He did the same thing in the Europa League final. Like, I'm not like putting blame, but Bruno's the player you need as close to the box as possible because you know he can make magic happen. He can find, like, look at the assists he had to mount today. He was able to drive at the defenders, and we don't have too many players that will going to do that. I mean, we're building up in numbers with Cunha and Mbeumo signing and Ahmad and like certain other players was driving and able to find that perfect pass.
Yeah.
So Bruno, like you said, like for all the frustrations, I think the highs are is something you should live with. But again, this is why you need him away from the middle, up by the striker, by the box, and put a solid base behind him. And I promise you, you can build around that.
Let's talk about Bruno some more. He has some really interesting quotes post the
The
preseason. He
match.
said, "It's been positive to be together to create a bond between the players. It's been important for developing how we want to play and getting the new players involved too." I agree with that. I think that if you've watched the 3 games, I'm not going to try and get myself too high or too low. United look really good. You can see exactly what Ruben is trying to build. If you don't see that, you're either a hater or you're blind or you just don't like Ruben, and that's fair enough. But United definitely they look fitter, they look leaner. The players look like they look like they're in shape. He also said we didn't want to finish this way. We didn't want to finish in this way. Our performance wasn't the best. We're a little bit lazy today. We want to avoid that because with laziness you can pay at any moment. And it's true. He's the
Hmm.
perfect example of what I said when he tried to nutmeg in the eye. Like Ugarte, I don't want to get on him again, but that was one of the worst performances he's had. He was terrible today, giving passes all over the field, like just being sloppy, being lazy is not like that.
He
And
couldn't keep
Bruno,
the ball full.
yeah, finally, Bruno said, I don't want to take a dig at anyone, but the club is doing the best they can in terms of the financial situation they talk about. But I was crystal clear we needed more competition for the players that were here, more quality, get everyone to step up a little bit more. And I think that's what the club are trying to do. Hopefully, you can get 1 or 2 more players in to help him with that. And when your captain is saying that, he's not wrong. We
It's
need
not.
more quality. Like, I'm sorry, like, quality makes teams better. Like I see people saying, oh, the job of manager is to, work with what he has. Fair enough. If I'm going to a restaurant, right, and I want steak frites, but you don't have steak frites, you only have chicken breast and nachi, am I going to be mad at the chef for not having the right ingredients? No. You have to go out there and get what the chef needs, and what the chef needs is more quality football players. You've seen enough United in the last 12 years to know that there's not enough quality. You're seeing teams by getting linked to Isaac and having Hugo Katike and Florian Wirtz. You're seeing teams like City bringing in
Sharky,
Sharky,
Rangers.
Danny Rangers. You're seeing things like that. Arsenal upgrading midfield and Zubamendi. They're getting Gyökeres as their striker. You're starting to see the levels of quality in this league getting better. Sunderland have improved, and that's a team that just came out from the championship. So you need to constantly bring in quality. Iron sharpens iron every single day. You need to bring in players of that ilk, people of that caliber. You got 1 game a week. You better get the best players you can right now and bed them in. So next year, when you bring in more quality, you just up the levels. Which is why, again, I hate the Mikel Arteta jokes. Hey, not to go on the Arsenal rant, but it's like he's built this squad over the last 7 years into something that's Arsenal, one of the best teams in the world. I know a lot of you make the jokes about he should win trophies. What phase is he in? This is what I hate about football fans. You don't realize how terrible your team is until they're good. You don't realize how, what the trenches were like. Because Arsenal fans fail to realize where you were in 2017 with Unai Emery. You forget that you got your ass beat by Chelsea in that Europa League final. You forget all these things, right? But now you're a team that's defensively solid. You're a team with really good midfield. And now you just got to tweak your offense a little bit. But that's where United need to get to, is that you need to get to that place where you're constantly building year in and year out and bringing in more quality. And even if you do bring in players that don't fit that ilk, get rid of them fast. You can't keep holding on to products and players that are keeping you down. So that's my little rant, because I get frustrated when I see people asking about, this and that. It's like, yo, we need quality. Point blank, period.
Definitely. And also, I feel like quality, if it's through the academy, through the transfer market, don't be afraid to give people a chance. Which is why I'm gonna go back to yelling at Boko Amorim for not playing Kone. I really wanted to see Kone minutes so
Mhm.
bad. At least, because once I heard they blocked his loan earlier, so I expect to see him a little bit at least, so we can at least see, okay, this boy definitely does need a loan. Because honestly, I can't for sure say because I've seen him in some of the U21 games and all that stuff. I can't say for sure he's ready to start in Prem. I would have loved to see him against higher up opposition, so I can determine that. But maybe he's doing something in practice we don't see.
Yeah.
But like you said, we need quality, be it through the academy or through the transfer market.
One last thing I want to talk about is Ruben Amorim and how much he deserves his flowers. I love to hear what Sporting fans said about him before and how he came in and reset the culture and made them into a team that wins and getting in quality players. And you're slowly seeing that with United this preseason. I feel like the players are a lot more locked in together. They're a lot more friendlier with each other. The vibes seem hot. I don't know how to explain that without talking about like eye test and weird shit like that, but it's like
Mm-hmm.
this team looks a lot better. They look a lot more physically together, look a lot more mentally together, look a lot sharper. And that's down to the coach. That's down to his, like, he said that, I can't treat these players like kids. They all got sons. They got kids. I can only treat them like adults, but also give them limits. I love the fact he's weeding players out. We love Marcus Rashford, but for Marcus's sake and Man United's sake, they need to split apart. Like some of your parents need to, but that's neither here nor there. But, you know, Manchester United definitely needed to split with some players. Like Malacia needs to go.
I be forgetting he's still alive.
Garnacho needs to go. Ryan Deere needs to go. I'm sorry, it's not a good
He
player.
sucks, bro.
So it's like there's a lot of players and a lot of poorly bought players, right? That you not need to get rid of to constantly rebuild. But the structure is getting better. You can see, and even Bruno talked about it post game. He said the culture of this club is to win, and we need to bring that back. Many people have suffered through the changes. The fans too, who pay more expensive tickets. It's time to pay them back on the pitch, and it's true. It's like, yo, we need to we're in the social media era, right?
Yeah.
And I see people banter Manchester United all the time, this and that, and I get it. It's fun to make fun of Man United, but you're chasing our ghost. But this is our fault for not having any quality standards within ourselves and not realize like, yo, hold the fuck on. We're Manchester United. That's
You
what
know who we are. You know
that's
who I am.
yeah, that's who you not need to look in the mirror and like, yo, you are Manchester United. And that's a challenge, not just for Ruben, not just for the players, for the ownership, the board. Take some pride in yourself. Realize who you are. You're Manchester United Football Club. You're not some small yeah team. You're literally one of the three biggest clubs in the world. I don't care who or what you in debate. It's Manchester United, Real Madrid, and Barcelona. Those three are the big alpha dogs in all of football. These are the global names that Manchester, when you think about like the legendary, like the Yankees and Celtics and the Lakers and any other big sporting franchise, you think of Manchester United because that's just who they are, right? But for the last 12 years, in fact, I'm going to go last 20 years, since 2005, Manchester United have not been operating like a big club. They need to look in the mirror, put their big boy pants on, and say, hey, we are who we are.
Yeah.
We are Manchester United. And all I can say is this: as somebody who works in marketing, advertising, and PR, a great Manchester United side sells anything. You start winning titles, you can sell water in the rain. You can sell ice in Iceland. You can sell a winter coat in Lagos. That's how good Manchester United are if they get things clicking. But I said too much. Anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
Uh, I'm gonna against all the drunk United fans on Twitter.
Mhm.
I'm watching Barcelona very closely, and let Rashford win anything. Again. I wanted Rashford to leave. I just didn't like. I think it should have been a cleaner exit, and I'm blaming a lot of that on the fans. That man fed some kids. Y'all made fun of him, so I'm on y'all ass. Cause a couple people online were telling me Anthony was more behaved than Rashford, and that Anthony and Sancho were gonna get moves first. We're in the Champions League, so that was just my little PSA. Also, our women's team is back too. I think they played a friendly against Aston Villa today. They won 2-0.
Shout out to
So
the ladies, man.
that's exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited just to see where this goes. One game a week, we can see where this goes. But We're gonna try to be a little bit more consistent on the Manchester United edition. It's just that we're not trying to bore you with the things that you know, man. We're not gonna try and
Don't
give you
worry,
any
we
special
will. We
updates.
will. We'll if listen, if United's still terrible, we'll come up here and give you guys book recommendations. Read this one. I don't know if you can see. Expand your mind.
Do the knowledge.
Do the
Do the
do
knowledge.
the knowledge.
Do the knowledge. Real eyes recognize real lies. All
I
right,
Jaden Smith.
for myself, Tosin and Tomi, we're out. Everyone take it easy. Manchester United play next week, so we'll probably be back with something then, unless Sheshko signs this week. Then we have the emergency joint. But yeah, we want to keep the ball rolling, man. The season's almost back. 2 more weeks, man. 2 more weeks. 2 more weeks. We're out, everyone. Take it easy. Peace.
Oh, that ball.
Hey folks, this is Dean from the Shirtless Plantain Show. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and follow us on all our socials. You can see them right beneath our recordings in every video. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.